Ankh. The Ankh is a symbol that represents life force. And you're seeing this, I just used the word deity. The ancient Egyptians, they used the word called Necher, or Necher root. And you see this figure here, who is the figure of Ra, representing the life force and energy from the sun. And he's putting the Ankh, this symbol of life force, into the nostril of this person. And so what this represents is the idea that the ancestors were very aware that there was something called life force, there was something called energy, and it has something to do with the way that we breathe. So taking in this life force, this energy through the nostrils was very important. So you can see thousands of different illustrations. Here you see a little bit close up on this picture, a little bit further to your left. But you can see the energy coming from the hand of Heru going to the nostril of the initiate, the person who's receiving this gift of life force. It's coming from the hand. And so there's a concept within yoga called pranic healing, where we use the energy that we generate from our bodies in order to instill or move that energy into somebody else, or even into ourselves, to do self-healing. But this energy can be used either close up with somebody, you hear people talking about Reiki and things like that, or it can be used at a distance, where a person can be 1,000 miles away, and you can transfer life force and energy into that person. And so this is part of what some of these symbols represent. Here we see another illustration of energy being projected from the hand into the nostrils of a person. This is at one of the temples where we went into a temple. We found these shafts of light coming from the ceiling, where they had these openings that would intensely amplify the light. And so everybody sort of instinctively said, oh, let's get into this light and do some meditation, do some yoga, And so it was almost like you almost knew automatically this is what this was for. This wasn't just like a room that happened to have a hole in the ceiling where the light was coming in. And so people just sort of instinctively started to go through their own little rituals, their own little prayers. And so, we speculated this is probably what the ancestors used to do. Here are examples. When I go to Kemet, I see examples of yoga all over the place. This is a classic Kemetic yoga pose. These yoga poses that we're looking at, this is not found in India. This is a yoga pose here. It's called the pose of men. And people get sort of offended by the erect phallus. But the erect phallus represents something totally different than what it represents to us. And I'll explain some of that later. Another yoga type position. Another one here. Here's a yoga pose on top of this archway, which you can see it better here. And what he's holding in his hands are a symbol that represents immortality, represents eternity. These are some people doing a really acrobatic type of movement here. Standing on one leg, doing one leg back bend with one leg up in the air, balancing on one foot. Now right here, this is not necessarily yoga, but this is something I've been trying to get to for like about maybe 15, 16 years, and I finally was able to get inside of this room where you have what some people speculate is an ancient Egyptian light bulb. So right here is a box, right? And there's this stem coming from the box into this device right here. You got this. So some people speculate this is a bulb with a filament represented by the snake, and that's a coil, a wire coming from a box that may have some type of chemicals. When you mix certain type of chemicals together, you can create an electrical current that can send energy through there and make light. And so some people speculate the reason why you don't find any type of, torch residue on the top of the ceilings is because, cause this is underneath the ground, is because they had some type of artificial light. So this is speculation, I can't prove it. Here's another example of ancient Egyptian yoga, or ancient Kemetic yoga. Now, this pose here, this pose of men, this is something like sort of brings us into contemporary times where a lot of people might be attracted to yoga. So I don't know, this is like a pose that stimulates the position of the hand and the arm. There's a point here, right in the chest, called the P point, and there's a meridian, there's an energy channel that runs through the body to that point in the heart. And you can see this prayer, which was associated with people doing this particular pose. So they was doing this pose in order to increase their abilities in various, ways, because it increases blood circulation. So right here, you see that meridian that goes to the arm into that point of the heart. It's called the P meridian, or the pericardium. The pericardium is a part of the heart. And so one of the effects of doing this pose is that it increases blood circulation. And blood circulation increases, other things related to your sexual abilities. Here we're seeing a yoga pose related to the toes, what's called the sesh pose. And when you look at a close-up, you can see that they put a lot of emphasis on really illustrating the bend in the toes. You see that the foot is erect, but the toes are bent at a 90-degree angle. The back is straight. Because in the bottom of your feet, you have reflexology points. These reflexology points correspond to different organs, different glandular systems in your body. When you stimulate those points through some type of massage or pressure, then you are able to affect the various organs that you see illustrated here by breaking up congestion in the energy channels that correspond to those organs. And the ancient Egyptians, they understood that, and you see illustrations of them doing reflexology on the feet and also on the hands. And they also invented what you would call manicure and pedicure. And men and women got manicures and pedicures because manicures and pedicures are healthy for your feet. It's not just something that's cosmetic. And if you're a man, you don't have to get your toes painted. You just get them clipped and get your dead skin off your feet. So I encourage all brothers to get your pedicures and manicures. Up here, this is actually what you're seeing at the top. This is an example of lotus position seen in ancient Egypt. You're seeing a back bend or a type of back bend. You're seeing these other back bend positions. It's called the cobra. Down here you see my little grandson doing that same position. Up here you see two women doing what you would call pranic healing. Now this is not just a little drawing. This is actually from a stone that used to be in the museum, in the Luxor Museum. And I went there and saw the stone one year, and the next year I came back and the stone was missing for some reason. Now we get into yoga in Africa.